In this video, we will talk about the top 10 worst movies of 2021. Home Sweet Home Alone, November 12th. Please, just leave the Home Alone franchise alone. The original is a holiday favorite. Whether you think Home Alone 2 is the same old thing or a hidden gem, it's still better than the rest. Even though the 3 sequels were terrible, they at least got one thing right. We're supposed to root for the youngster and against the home invaders. Ellie Kemper and Rob Delaney's characters are curiously sympathetic in this Disney Plus revival, while Archie Yates Max is a jerk from beginning to end. So, even in terms of soulless retreads, this picture failed miserably. They should have just made Stoned Alone with Ryan Reynolds instead of wasting their amazing actors and a popular IP. What happened to that project in the first place? The Misfits, June 3rd. The Misfits is what a Fast and Furious film would look like without any novel action or interesting characters. For anyone who believes the Fast and Furious movies are mindless action escapades. You'd never realize it from the cast, which includes Jamie Chung, Tim Roth, and Pierce Brosnan, a former James Bond. For crying out loud. At the very least, Brosnan appears to be having a good time, but the audience does not. The plot, meanwhile, recycles from every other heist movie ever made without an ounce of self-aware fun. And we're left suffering through excruciating one-liners like, the protagonists want to be modern-day Robin Hoods, but the Misfits plunders richer narratives while leaving us poor suckers with nothing. Voyagers, April 8th. Remember when every studio was attempting to cash in on the young adult fad in the early 2010s? Even if Voyagers hadn't been released 7 years later, it would have tasted stale. The concept of a Lord of the Flies in space seems intriguing, but Voyagers lacks compelling characters, graphics, and plot twists. Ty Sheridan and Lily Rose Depp, among the promising group of up-and-comers, do their best with one-note roles. We can't picture Voyagers receiving a straight-to-video sequel with half the budget, despite the fact that director Neil Burger has made some outstanding films like The Illusionist. The studio evidently merely wanted him to recreate the popularity of the original Divergent, which lasted at least 3 movies. Space Jam: A New Legacy, July 16th. We're not sure what occurred between LeBron James' great performance in Trainwreck and this cinematic train wreck, but he didn't attend Juilliard for a semester. The Looney Tunes can't make up for James' flaws since they become buried in a sea of commercial placement and references, half of which seem to have been penned in 1999. To be fair, there are a few real laugh-out-loud moments. Once you figure out what's going on. The second half of the film is so crowded and dimly lit that it's difficult to pick out all of the small details most of the time. An IP-packed Space Jam sequel may have worked after the spectacle of Ready Player One and the unexpected heart of the Lego Movie, but the results are le pew. The Woman in the Window, May 14th. This psychological thriller initially sounded like a potential Oscar contender, with Amy Adams starring, Joe Wright directing, and a plot that echoed Rear Window. We realized something wasn't right after the negative test screenings, re-editing, and sale to Netflix. Even yet, we didn't expect it to be so disastrous. While Adams and Julianne Moore give strong performances, the rest of the cast acts as if they're from another planet. Perhaps that was the aim, but it comes across as inadvertently funny. We won't give away the twist ending, despite our best efforts to spare you 100 minutes. We will admit, though, that this operatic mystery might have been solved quickly if the authorities had put any effort into their work, making the explanation appear cheap and unearned. Thunder Force, April 9th. The director of a Melissa McCarthy film is usually a good indicator of whether or not the film will succeed. There's a huge promise if someone other than Ben Falcone is behind the camera. If Falcone is in charge of the project, expect to laugh once every 20 minutes or so. Please don't misunderstand us. As a real-life couple and co-stars, we like Falcone and McCarthy. Falcone's direction of McCarthy, on the other hand, never seems to click. Thunder Force is no exception, bringing little fresh to the superhero parody or buddy movie genres. Except for Jason Bateman's role as a henchman with crab arms. That's brilliant. Otherwise, McCarthy's film is a step backwards, and she takes Octavia Spencer down with her. Vanquish, April 16th. Ruby Rose's Victoria is pushed out of retirement in this face-bombingly bad action thriller when Morgan Freeman's Damon kidnaps her daughter. But here's the thing. There's a catch. Victoria has access to Damon's home, where he keeps her daughter. So, instead of embarking on a potentially fatal goose chase, why doesn't Victoria merely examine every room and return her daughter? If the performers were charismatic and the action impressed, we might be able to overlook this perplexing plot hole. Unfortunately, Victoria is a mediocre action heroine, and based on his uninvolved performance here, you'd never believe Freeman is an Oscar winner. It's a visually unappealing film, with illogical editing decisions and drab photography that frantically tries to stand out. Chaos Walking, February 24th. We held out hope that Tom Holland, Daisy Ridley, and Doug Liman might save this adaptation of Patrick Ness' outstanding novel despite multiple delays and reshoots. Unfortunately, watching through this vacuous dystopian film is a chaotic experience. To be fair, adapting this source material isn't easy. The plot revolves around a world in which everyone can see and hear everyone else's thoughts. While this concept is well suited to prose, it may not transition well to a visual medium. Although cinema is about showing rather than explaining, Chaos Walking is continuously telling, even when it isn't necessary. The initial cut of the film was supposedly judged unreleasable by Lionsgate execs, and we're still trying to wrap our heads around the possibility that an even worse version exists. Cosmic Sin, March 1st. Do you remember The Fifth Element? The one-of-a-kind sci-fi film starring Bruce Willis and starring him in a compelling performance? Cosmic Sin is the bizarro version, with little style and Willis dozing off throughout the film. Perhaps squint walking is a better description, as he barely opens his eyes. This production has a bored and half-assed air to it. There are no distinct personalities among the characters, no one-of-a-kind visuals, and very little action. Even the opening paragraph appears to have been slapped together with iMovie. We know it's a little quibble, but when the audience's attention is drawn to the font rather than the characters or story, you know something's wrong. It's even possible to term it a cosmic sin. We believe the critics were overly generous, as the film has a 3% Rotten Tomatoes rating. Music, February 10th. More power to you if you want to develop a film about the autism experience. Sure, making a musical based on Sia's songs may be entertaining. But why would you put these two concepts together in the first place? Sia's bright direction and upbeat music clash with the severe subject matter of this film, which also deals with drugs, death, and divorce. Granted, musicals like Rent blended serious topics with upbeat music, but that musical knew what it was talking about. Music appears to have no comprehension of autism, and it comes across as emotionally manipulative and irritating. We're sure the producers had good intentions, but music deserved all 3 Razzies it received, including Worst Supporting Actress, and Director. Which of these movies do you actually like? Please share it with us in the comments section below. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more videos about your favorite movies and celebrities. Thanks for watching.